everybody. Welcome back to the Techegy podcast. I'm here with JC, MC, MM, and M2. And this is our games of the month for July, or since, what we've been playing over the last month. So I guess, I always like to hide and lurk in the shadows till the end of the podcast.
You're good at
But
that.
I'm going to go ahead. I am. I'm very good at just lurking in general.
That's why there's restraining orders.
Yes, I was just gonna say I've had the police called on me many a times. But I'll go ahead and I'll start it off. This is one of our more entertaining podcasts, so let the most entertaining one go first. Um, there's a tricorder going off somewhere.
My mom texting me.
So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Blade of Darkness. Blade of Darkness. So that's actually an older game. It was originally released for the PC and the original Xbox. I don't even know what year. Didn't look it up, but it's old, and I'm just going to say this right now. It's got some jank on it. It's got some stank and jank. It's got some goofy controls for the time. Not for the time, but it does now looking back. It's a little oddball as far as the controls go. The sword mechanics, some of the shield defense and things like that. It's not a super long game. I think you can complete it probably in around like 16 hours, 16, 20 hours, but it's fun. It's dumb, mindless, hack and slash fun, but it's also a little bit difficult. So it's mindless, but at the same time, you're hacking and slashing your way through. You can also easily get hack and slashed as well. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say about it. I think it was on sale for $3.99 on the Xbox store as part of the gold sale, the recent gold sale on there. Pick it up. I'm sure you could probably find it on PC, Steam, or somewhere else just as cheap, if not cheaper. I think it just came to the Nintendo Switch last summer as well. So I know it's on a couple different consoles. You have a couple different choices. The next game is a game that you will probably never, a genre of games that you will never hear me talk about because they're not my type of games. But I decided to pick this up because it was on sale. This is called Murdered Soul Suspect. And this is a Square Enix game, which is why it's so well done, as compared to just being some other random investigatory game. You are a police investigator who is like the bad boy cop with the attitude, and he smokes cigarettes because he's bad. And he dies at the beginning. And the whole game, you are his ghost attempting to solve his murder. So you're have a couple different abilities where you can like go into people and possess them and have them say certain things or get information from them. You have to investigate the crime scenes as a ghost. And there are like demons that you run away from, or you can sneak up behind them and kill them. So there's some strategical elements going on here as well. It's a lot of story. It's definitely story driven, a lot of talking, a lot of sitting around and just watching clips and scenes and stuff. So it's like I said, it's normally not a game I would ever even consider playing, but it was on sale and Square Enix made it. So it's pretty good actually. And I believe it's on sale. It's also part of the Xbox gold sale. And actually, I think all of my games are tonight. Yeah. So, anyways, that one is Murdered Soul Suspect. And my third and last one is a game that originally came out on the Xbox 360. It might have been on other systems too. I don't know. I didn't really look, but it's called Dark Void.
That's on other systems. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. So Dark Void is an interesting game because there's two different styles of gameplay and you have to play them both. The first style of gameplay, and possibly the most exciting style, is almost like a Iron Man kind of thing where you're flying through the sky with a jetpack and an armor suit on. You have different weapons, turrets on your back, and you're shooting down other ships and enemies and things like that. I will say that I had to completely change the controls you're gonna have to mess with the control sensitivity as well because you start playing and it's way too sensitive. That's what she said. Um, so you're gonna have to mess with that, mess with the controls, figure it out. I always, they always reverse the axes for some reason in
What?
these games. So you're gonna have to change that unless you're used to like, pressing up and going a certain direction, whatever. That's fine. So the second style gameplay is more of your third person, over the shoulder shooter, but it's not just mindless. Like you're not just going through and shooting and killing enemies. You have to pick certain points to where you're going to kill these robot enemies. You have to use cover to your advantage. There's certain weapons that you're going to have to use to your advantage more so than others, and you can very quickly find yourself surrounded by a lot of robots and killed very quickly. There's no real health bar. There's no hit points. Your screen just starts getting blurrier and blurrier, and then you die. You can also use melee on these robots, but they can also use melee on you too. So you think you're going to run up to one and just punch it in the face because it's going to do the same thing back to you. And there's short, very cinematic um, clips that happen when you attack the robots or they attack you. Like I got choked out by a robot. And this was the longest choke out scene I've seen in any video game. It literally picked me up, and I was more so just watching what was happening. I didn't see that I was supposed to wiggle the left stick back and forth to try to escape. So it was just standing there like holding me in this chokehold for a solid 20 seconds while I'm just sitting there like on my couch like all right, my is my windpipe broken yet, or like the robot not strong enough to do that? What's going on here? Maybe he likes it. Should I call him daddy? I don't know. I didn't know. So it just little things like that. The game, I thought I liked the game a lot. I've been playing it for about a week off and on, um, but I'm definitely going to finish it. Again, it was on sale. It was just a couple dollars. I think it was $5 on the Xbox Gold sale. I'm sure it's on PC. It's probably in the PlayStation Store too. If it came out for that system, go check it out again. It's called Dark Void, and that's my 3 games for July in the last month. MC, what do you got for us?
What do I got? Well, I'll start with the game that me and you both played together first. Sea of Thieves, Monkey Island, which I thought was pretty good. It followed the adventure game, which was kind of cold. I mean, we found some minor things that would drive you nuts, like trying to find what were they, the coins or the blue? What were them?
you
Yeah,
have to literally find the exact amount of coins that they've programmed into this for you to buy certain things, and you're just like running around this island, the Melee Island from Monkey Island, looking for these coins, and in all kinds of random hidden places and things. But
yes, and it
you have to do it.
and they hid them very good. Some of them like super hard to find. But I did like it, and I mean they even have some secret areas that you wouldn't think to get to and stuff like that. But all in all, I really liked it. So if you have Sea of Thieves and you got Game Pass, I'd definitely try that. The next one was also a Game Pass one, Serious Sam. I think it was Siberian Mayhem. I usually I liked like the first Serious Sam's, but then they got really janky and hard to control in it. But in this one, I think they fixed most of the problems because I didn't have a hard time like controlling things or having very many glitches. Now, of course, they send so many monsters at you that you're running backwards, shooting as fast as you can, trying to aim. And there is one problem: the aiming is exact. There's no aim assist, so you'll waste a heck of a lot of bullets trying to kill the monsters. And it is super tough. But I really enjoyed it too. I haven't beat it, but I played the first couple levels and really liked that. And then my third one, which I really like retro games, and I didn't know if I was going to buy it or not. In fact, John will tell you, I went back and forth with him talking about it 100 times before I actually bought it. But I bought Antstream, the lifetime version for $80, and you know what? I love it. I've already got a bunch of achievements for being, like the first achievement I got was for playing over 100 games in a certain amount of time. and I got a bunch of achievements for playing different challenges and that. I love it because always before I played all these on my PC or something, which I had to sit at a desk. Where now I can sit in my lounge chair, and these games, even though they're streaming on the internet, I haven't seen any lag. I had only like 2 or 3 glitches over the last 3 weeks of playing hundreds of games. And I think it was internet connection. I'd have a few where it just kick you out of the game, but I have Comcast, so everyone knows how they drop your connection every once in a while. But then I went right back in, like no problem. It has all kind of things you can save. It has save states. It works with the Xbox controller really good. I mean, controls are 10 times better than you would have on any, real system like ColecoVision or any of them. The controller is great. I really like it. Every chance I get, I mean, I go on. I always at least click in and play a few games. The one flaw I think of it is their search. They're going to redo the interface. I hear in November they're completely doing the interface and making it better. But the search, if you type in some names, you could have the name spelled correctly and it not find the game. But they do have a search for all. If you do that, you can see every game, so you can just scroll down alphabetically and find them. But I love it. You could favorite your games. I mean, the interface is the only thing I would say could use some work because there's so many games on the screen at one time. It's hard. It's hard to see them because they're kind of smaller because you know to fit them all, to fit rows of them on there, how many they want. The squares aren't very big, but you have everything on there from Amiga to Sega to there's tons of games on there. Atari. I mean, it's like 1,300 games, and all I can say is, I thought $80 was a lot, but going back and looking on Xbox Store, you get these collections of 10 games for like $15. And I figure, if you're gonna pay that much for 10 games or something, you might as well pay 80 and get 1,300. And they're constantly adding more all the time and stuff like that. So I recommend it, and I think you'll actually be impressed with the quality of streaming and everything else. There's no delay; everything's instantaneously, even the load. And actually it has a nice interface when you click on the game. If you wait a few seconds on the right, it'll play a little movie of the game or a little couple pictures of the game so you can see what the game is. So I don't know. I really like it. I don't know if any of you guys tried it,
I
but
tried it on
I
the
think it's great.
Atari VCS.
What's that?
I tried it on the Atari. Let me get up here. I tried it on the Atari VCS, and the experience was actually a pretty good one. It was probably 9 months ago, maybe eight or so. So I'm sure that they've improved because they seem
Well,
to now that they've got it on Xbox and some of the other systems.
Well, supposedly Microsoft helped them. They went to Microsoft. Microsoft helped them do the streaming interface, on the Xbox. And I think it's actually better than Microsoft streaming, to be honest with you. Because, well, and think about it, the games aren't as big, so there is no delay. There's no, if it has a movie or nothing, there's no lag. There's no nothing. I mean, at least with my internet connection,
Right.
and that would go by your internet connection, but
Sure.
so I'm
Sure.
impressed with it.
Cool.
So
I'll have to look at it again. Like I said, it's been a little bit since I've looked at it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing he's talked about for like 2 weeks.
Oh, he's
Hey,
excited about it. That's good, though, isn't it?
well, I probably played about 200 different games. So, so at least think I got my money's worth out of it.
That's the key to it. That's really the key to it. Did you get your money's worth out of it?
I mean, it's lifetime, no matter what happens to it. And they have supposedly 5,000 games licensed, even though they only have 1,300 on there, which they're putting more and more on all the time. So, I mean, they have to make it work with the joystick and
Sure.
everything else, so that they do some tweaking to make things work.
You do.
So, and one thing about them, if you do tell them about bugs, they are fixing them. In fact, they have a podcast out once a week telling you what they fixed. So it's out there on YouTube. So
Sounds like a user. What is it? Company is actually interested in what their users have to say, which
I
is
I
always good.
think I think they're really into it, and they're doing it, because of restoration of games and everything else, and of course to make money. But but I mean, they're doing a good job so far. Hopefully, they'll continue what they're doing. So
Hopefully,
so
I'll have to try it
who's up,
again.
Mike? So
Michael,
What, me?
are
Let's
you going
go.
to go? Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
can
can
go.
go.
Um, so this was kind of an off month for me because I was traveling a lot and for weekends. So I didn't have my 32 game month like I normally do. It looks like I was closer to like 24 or so on Steam. So
Say it ain't so.
pardon, yeah, it was a little rough. The four games that jump out at me, uh, I think I mentioned at the end of the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot in the last one. Still playing that. Still really enjoying that one. Um, I bought Mini Metro. It's like a puzzle little game where you're connecting railways and there's certain challenges. Um, very simple, very well made, and it's just fun, dirt cheap. I bought Baldur's Gate, loving that, really good. I think I had the day I bought, I put 7 hours into it, so
Yeah,
that's
I've heard it's very good.
it's very good. Yeah. What I like about it is it's very easy for your friends to drop in and out. Because every character you have is a new world, and your friends can have a different character in each of your worlds. And you can still level them up with you. They just become NPCs essentially while they're not there. So they've done a really good job of making sure that no one really falls behind. Yeah, you miss story, but I think they said there's more hours of cutscenes in the game than there are hours of Game of Thrones. Um, and so it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Um, Last but not least, definitely not least, is Power Wash Simulator. As stupid as that sounds, as much as you guys are going to laugh on me, that game, it's on Game Pass. I played so much of it on Game Pass, I bought it on Steam and then bought the DLC for it on Steam, just because I wanted to own the game outright. The DLC SpongeBob, so you're cleaning like the Krusty Krab and the SpongeBob houses.
Oh, that's
But
great.
it's
yeah,
so good. But it's very peaceful, easy game to lose, lots of hours in. And I have a friend, his wife hates games. He bought Power Wash Simulator, and I was cleaning PlayStation One's Tomb Raider's Lara Croft's mansion. It was one of the DLCs. And his wife walked in and goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, we're power washing." She goes, "That looks stupid." And he goes, "You want to try?" She's now played 6 hours of that game. Every time he tries to play it, she walks into the gaming room and takes over. I have now played more games with him in the last month than or with her in the last month than I've played with him. And it's Power Wash Simulator. So it's easy. It's good, and it's cross platform. So if you have it on Game Pass, have it on Steam, you can still play with people.
I have it downloaded here on Xbox, but I haven't had a chance to get to it yet. And it's been out for quite a few years, right? Like it's not really new. Because
Uh,
I've seen it played before. Now probably the DLC is new.
at least on Steam, it was July 14th, 2022.
Okay. So maybe my 1 year somehow seems like 6 to me, but fair.
Well, like I said, on Steam,
Yeah.
early access was 21.
Okay. Um.
Um, you might
Yes.
be thinking of House Flipper.
I actually might be thinking of that Floor is Lava.
Yeah, that game's good too.
Yeah. I think that because they look similar in a
Yeah,
way, the graphic style. So that's maybe what I'm thinking of. But yes, I have it downloaded, so I will definitely be playing it soon. Is it multiplayer?
it is. Yeah, fully multiplayer, and the way the multiplayer works is whoever's the host, everyone gets whatever items they have. So if you are playing on a multiplayer, like with your buddy, if you're joining his game, you're not actually getting progress towards your character, and you're not getting money for your character. You just use your buddy's gear.
Okay, makes sense.
And some of those achievements are stressful because I'm a completionist. So if I see a game that has reasonable achievements, I have to 100% it. Um,
Wonder where you got that from.
oh my gosh, there was one time I spent it was probably a 5 minute level. I spent an hour and a half doing it because there was a certain stipulation to do it.
How many times did we do that when we first got the 360?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. We played more Ridge Racer than I'd ever want to say I played in my life.
And Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my god, that game is terrible. Was that the one that took like 3 minutes to get all the achievements?
Yeah, you just spammed X in the first fight. All right, that's my rant. I'm good.
So those are yours. So mine, I'm going to go old school on this one. So I ended up getting in 3 games, and I'll go with the one that blew me away. And I even got the box here. If you can pronounce that name, you're doing better than I am. Yeah, Vizran.
Verizon.
Verizon, yes. So I got this in from Great Britain. This is for the Vectrex. Um, it is probably one of the coolest shooting games I have ever seen in my life. It's kind of like a take. Your my wife walked in and said, "You know what? That right there looks like somebody took Galaga, all the Space Invaders, Gorf, all those Phoenix, all those, and kind of combined them into a Vectrex based game. Um, it saves high scores. It does some things that wasn't even I don't think was even available when the Vectrex first came out. So it's I played it probably an hour, which is actually a lot for me when I get these games in because I normally this is cool, play it for a little bit, put it back in the box. It's going to be a collector's thing. But they had just released 10 a couple of weekends ago, so it's a very new game. But highly recommend it. It's of the Vectrex games I played. I mean, Star Castle is probably my favorite of the ones that are on that system. But this thing right here, if somebody came to me and said what homebrew to buy right now, I would have to say this game right here was worth it. And again, we can put a link to the site. There's gonna be more of them available. They said at the end of August, but it's kind of like they're only doing them like 10 at a time. This is actually they actually do number them. This is 317. It's actually numbered, which I think is kind of cool. So that's one game. The other two are from a publisher we well know. I got in Desolator, which actually it's a MSX port over to the ColecoVision. These are ColecoVision games. It's a pretty good game. It's actually a lot of fun. You don't have to think a lot. You just shoot stuff, which sometimes can be a good thing if you're not only paying half attention to the game and trying to work do a conference call. It's a fun game. It's I got it on sale. There's a sale running on it, which I think everybody knows. I try to buy games when they go on sale, especially when I don't know a lot about them. The Vectrex one was a little different. Um, but in the go back to the Vectrex 1 minute. The overlay, I should pull it out, but it is cool looking. They did a really good job on it. The other game that I got in was Runaway Train, which actually is a port of what's the name of that game? Stop the Express. So I was going to do a review on both these games, but um, the publisher Millie changed the name of the game. It was his idea. I actually went back and forth with him to Runaway Train, which if you look at the logo, it's the same logo as the 1980s movie with John Voight. It's exactly the same, and he confirmed. He goes, no, it was my inspiration, is what he said. But it definitely that has got to be one of the hardest games I've ever played. It's if you like things that are extremely challenging and frustrating, that's the game it is. I never played it on the MSX or the Commodore or any of those. The first experience I had with it was actually this port of it. I want to go back. So the Intellivision one doesn't look as hard. Now there is a cheat code that he gave me where it reduces some enemies, and it still was hard even with reducing the enemies because of things flying at you. So very hard game. If you like stuff that is nearly impossible and that challenges you, I can recommend it. So of my games today, I for the Visoron or whatever the Vectrex game is, highly recommend it. That right there, if you got a Vectrex, you should probably own that game. A lot of fun. Destructor, if you have a ColecoVision, catch it on sale like it is now. I like the game. It's kind of a hybrid Defender, Cosmic Avenger kind of game. It was a lot of fun. Runaway Train, it's tough. If you get real frustrated, it's not the game for you. That's probably the best way I could put it. I can see MC up there laughing. But if you get real frustrated and you get real annoyed real easy, it's probably not the game for you. So those are my 3 for today in my retro corner. Homebrew retro corner.
Homebrew Retro Corner. It's the name of a new show. It's the name of our new podcast.
We have our new podcast.
Yep.
Retro Corner.
Cool. So we had 6 or so, or well, 9 or so games there for everybody to check out. And as always, we appreciate everybody tuning in to the Techegy podcast. If you like what you hear, up thumb up. If you hate it, thumb down and leave a comment why you hate us, and that's fine too. Yeah. Unless it's personal, because then we'll cry.
We'll
But
cry.
As
I still want to know why.
I'm
MC,
crying every day.
Tracy, I have to ask a question. Why do you have the Christmas stuff on your railing behind you still?
Who, me?
That green stuff, isn't that
Christmas in July?
It's Christmas in July?
Well, no, I just leave. It's been up there since like 2018, probably.
I'm just noticing. I just had to ask. I mean,
it's perpetual. It's
our listeners want to know.
It grows year round. It's a decoration of nature. Appreciating nature.
I just had to ask. I've been meaning to ask.
We're gonna go with that. I think I've even mentioned it before.
26 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening again and putting up with us for however long you listen to this podcast. And as we here at the Techegy Podcast always like to say,
Stay
nerdy, my friends.
Ooh yeah.
Oh yeah. That wasn't bad. All right. Stay nerdy, everybody.